Hey guys, today I would like to show you some alternatives to the Chord Track that some of you are familiar with from Cubase. REAPER doesn't have something like that, but REAPER has some simple alternatives which are able to help you in the writing process. And I will also show you my method in order to have some sort of a chord track. And I would like to demonstrate this process a little bit here. So first of all, when we take a look at the REAPER tools or the tools that REAPER provide, we can use the so-called MIDI snap to key function. This is a script that can be applied to the MIDI item itself. So when I drop it here, you see it's on the MIDI item itself. So on a selective basis, this is something that I would recommend because let us say you have different root keys all over the place. You can go in here and drag and drop it to each one. And you can essentially say, okay, I want to have all my keys stick in C major or C Dorian right in here. MIDI snap to key has two different modes. It either blocks the input when it's off key, off root key, or it can remap it, something like, from the scale tool inside of Cubase or the scale snapping, or what Ableton provides, the scale tool itself. So yeah, usually it's remapped and you can take it on and off. You can choose which input channel you want to have, and you can of course go down and say, okay, here we are in D, and here we are in G, and here we are in, F, Mixolydian. So what we can do now is we can, write some chords in here. And of course, we don't hear anything because I have not, or maybe let us do it another way around. We use the same chords to hear the difference. So I will load up all my, maybe only the piano. So I made a script to activate all the plugins in a row. So, and I will use, we will do it here. So we don't need to use DVZ-mate now. I will delete this. Oh, not. Yeah, we will not use it at the moment, so that's better. Maybe we scale it down. Maybe something here. So that's our first version. Yeah. And here we are snapping to D, and here we are snapping to G, B. As you have here, it's changing. So that's the method I would use. What you can also do in order to keep your life a little bit more clear, you can insert an empty item. So you can say, maybe we make a new track and call this thing chords. And here we will drop our empty item. and I will drop some of those. And here we had C, so I can say C. And here I can say what we had D, and here we had G, and this was B. So that's something you can do to have it more clear. That's not a chord track, so this or those string values essentially will not change anything in the MIDI data itself. So an alternative, in my perspective, is something completely different. We know there are tools out there called Scaler and RapidComposer. And what I really like is to use both in combination. So when we go down to Scaler and we load Scaler free, we can, of course, some of you are familiar with Scaler. We can choose something else right in here. We have our chords in here, and we can, of course, use those patterns to be streamed to a different output device, so, or to a different channel. So we can say those are bass chords. So maybe I should activate the other instruments now to have a more clear explanation for that, or that you can hear it better. So it takes a couple seconds to load all the BBC Symphony Orchestra instruments. So they are loaded now with the articulation manager, or rearticulate. And what we can do now, I use the VisiMate. That's not the VisiMate 2, but essentially the VisiMate Micro. And the instruments are connected, the VisiPort 4 and so on. And we don't need that for now. And I can say, okay, we have Scaler, and I will use not the VisiMate in that case. I will use the MIDI data from Scaler free and send it over to maybe my violin. And I only send channel 1 to all. So essentially channel 1 will be sent to all of violin 1. I will create another one for violin 2, and I will send from 2, and another one cello from channel 3. I hope this works now. So I will reopen Scaler, and all what we have to do is you have to declare our output. So this was channel 3 for the cello, and this is channel 1 already, and this is channel 2. So hopefully, fingers crossed, I hope it was not too loud, but you see it works. So maybe I can do them a little bit quieter. Oh, one important point. You was able to hear the instruments from Scaler themselves, so we deactivate those. That we only hear the instruments from REAPER. So as you can see, it works perfectly. I would say the REAPER routing tools are way more advanced than those in Ableton and Cubase, but I think that's personal preference. So I like them a lot. What you can also do, you can combine Scalar with RapidComposer. I personally like a RapidComposer really a lot. It's not that cheap, but it has great tools. So I can drop it right in here, or maybe we can also drop it directly in our draft channel. So as you can see in REAPER, you can have multiple VSTs underneath each other, so you can use them. So what I will do now is I will open okay, this my fault, doesn't work for RapidComposer. No problem. Yeah, I don't rehearse that, but as you can see, some VSTs don't like that, but that's no problem. So I will, what the heck is going on? Okay. Now it's working. So as you can see, RapidComposer has a chord track themselves. But the great thing is you can use all those different methods from music theory to have, or to have tools to shape your chords procedurally. And the great thing is, when you use it as a VST and not as a standalone, you can also send out those MIDI informations to different channels. So I can say, where is it now? I'm sometimes lost a little bit about the usability from this tool, but anything is kind of right-click toolbar thingy, I would say. So what we can do, we don't use Scalar for sending our chords. We can say, okay, we use the plugin host and we will send out to various channels, and we have really an insane amount of possible channels here. Way more than what Scalar provides. So I will go back to line out our chords again. But what we can do is we can say, okay, those will be our main chords. And here we have channel 1, and this is channel 2, and this is channel 3, as we would had it in Scalar. And I can now open Scalar again and can drag and drop those chords directly here into the chord track itself. So as you can see, it's matching. This is really straightforward. So okay, I need to extend this a little bit and drag and drop it here again. So we will have it again right in here. Maybe I did a mistake here. So, don't know. Yeah, maybe for the first time bar 10. That's not right. The alternatives, yeah, okay, I understand. Those chords are 2 times the same chord, so it merges them together because it understands, RapidComposer understands that those are the same chords, so it will not create a division. So we can now drag and drop. So, no, I don't like that audio feedback. So we can drag and drop those chords right in here. So this was channel 1 and this was channel, yeah, okay, that doesn't work that way. We need to, and this is this one. So, and of course we want to have our main chords here. So now we have essentially what Scalar had. Scalar is good for inspiration, maybe for some of you. In recent times, I don't use this not anymore. What you can do now, and that's a main advantage from RapidComposer, you can now go down to maybe maybe I can create something like ostinato generator and say, okay, we make a different track now. We had the viola not yet applied, which is channel 4 exactly. And I can say, okay, I want to have an ostinatos. And as you can see, those those MIDI notes are stitching or sticking, snapping to the corresponding keys. This works really great. And another great thing is, what if you like this pattern and you want to extend it? So it will create an extension for it with variations based on a method. And what you can also do, which is something I didn't realize in the first place, but what if we have a different pattern that maybe you have played and recorded by yourself, a different MIDI shape or rhythm or something like that. You can go down, those are some of the community ones, and can say, okay, it looks like that, or maybe like that, maybe this one, and can say, okay, those are my main chords, I want to break them up with this sort of style. So you can drag and drop them on top and can say apply it at a rhythm. So it is extracting the rhythm from here and applying it to your chords. And the best part of it is it's procedural. So you can go down and yeah, you can change it. You can drag and drop in here and it change it. Or you can say, oh, okay, I don't like that anymore. And now you have your chords back. So this is procedural shaping of MIDI data. Or I can say, I apply it as shape. And as you can see, it has divided those chords in the exact same manner, like those chords from this artist or from this composer. So this is really, really great for mixing up ideas, and maybe you are a really good, or maybe you can play on the piano quite nice, but the stuff that you recorded from your piano doesn't stick to the chords, to the main root chords that you want to hear. You can mix them up and can apply your playing style to the MIDI data directly. You can also use maybe When I remember correctly, we had also some, yeah, Bach samples like that. So maybe the melody. So we have our chords and we applied the melody to it, and it has, yeah, you can see, you can shape it. You can say, okay, I want to have the melody from Bach inside my chords, and it works. It's really an awesome tool. And same like for scalar, you can drag and drop those right into your composition. So you can essentially say, I will only drag and drop the main chords, so you can either stream them or you can say, okay, I solo them. And with Control, left click and drop, you can drag and drop them directly where you want to have them. So this was Shelly, so tempo map in here. And we make it larger. And here we have our chords. Of course, you can also drag and drop all of them. So here you have all of them. So that's the one way. Oh, my mistake. You have to make sure that you don't have activated this button. Also in Cubase. This also applies for scalar. Otherwise, you will your deleting commands, for example, will do the same in your VST. So we'll go back and we say, okay, we are now not streaming from a scalar, so I will deactivate those ports, but we are sending from RapidComposer to our instruments. So we had the violin, cello, and we had the viola. So, and for the violin, it was channel 1. For violin 2, it was channel 2. And here we had channel 3. No, channel 4. And here we had channel 3. As you hear, it sounds a little bit creepy, but yeah, it's working. So of course you have to take a look what you write. So, and maybe change some of those articulations. But this is the method I use in REAPER, or not just in REAPER, but also in other music tools, to have a really great chord track, something like that. And of course, you can save this composition, but you also have different other methods in this tool, just to show you what you can do with RapidComposer. So this is not advertising for RapidComposer, but I really like that really a lot. So we can say, okay, we do something like that. It will use, no, it will use Gemini. I use Gemini in the background to, yeah, I use it to get some inspiration. It will generate MIDI now, or chords. Oh, it has not created anything, but not bad. So, and it also creates the parts for it. So, but as you can see, yeah, that's typically for AI. It not always work perfect. So, but you can say, for example, use the neural engine and say, okay, yeah, something like that, and create some random shit. So The neural engine is directly from RapidComposer, so that's not essentially AI. But it creates some sort of, don't know. It kind of sounds crappy, but sometimes you have a cool pattern in here, like this finger bass something. So maybe I can use one of my ampli guitar here. Where is it? It's loading. Here it is. So, and yeah, drag and drop it here. Hopefully it works out of the box. Yeah, it's working. So we don't need it. No, it was not working. It was. Okay, it's off. It's off range. So I will bring this up by an octave. So you get the point. So those are the methods I use to write chords. And of course, I also use other tools like Dorico, which is really great for really writing a score. No traditional DAW can do this sort of things. So that's the last method I want to show you. I tried something yesterday, and for that I need to load Dorico 2 and REAPER. So Dorico Pro 6, the most advanced notation software in the world right now. And I directly, or I have created my own MIDI setup, so all those instruments have a mapping, a MIDI mapping. And you can do, or you can create those for yourself. There are also expression maps. You can download them for most libraries. And for the more expensive ones. And here in REAPER, I have connected those as well. So I have to activate my MIDI devices because I send the MIDI data from Dorico directly via my MIDI interfaces in almost real time, 2 milliseconds one-way trip, something like that. And sometimes it's a little bit clunky. So we reset all the, so that's something happens sometimes. Sometimes REAPER don't catch the signals because of multiple MIDI channels used at the same time. So this is a typical startup failure. So I need to reload the project. and sometimes restart the MIDI device, but sadly this only happens with Reaper and Ableton. Inside of Cubase, this is not an issue. This is really an advantage of Cubase, using Cubase. So our MIDI channels are linked, and we still hear nothing. Okay. So why? That's demonstration issue, I guess. Yeah, now we have it. So, as you can see, the data got streamed directly into Reaper. So, of course, a 2-monitor system is preferred, but as you can see. And the great thing about Dorico is it not just is the best tool for writing music, it also has a piano roll, but it creates automation data for you. So as you can see, it creates very realistic CC values for your instruments, for your articulation and playing styles. So, of course, later on in Reaper, you can smooth them out, but you have the basics right in here, and it sounds some sort of realistic. So I have a piano in here, I have a harp in here, a guitar, and some strings. So and the great thing about this is also, let us remember, we can use Scalar or what tools we have and can drag and drop those chords right in here into the piano roll. This also works nicely. So you can say, okay, open Scalar here in RapidComposer or in Reaper, and I don't like this big interface all the time. So let us say, yeah, don't know, maybe that one. So, and I can say, okay, I will try something new, something totally crazy, and drag and drop those here. And as you can see, you have those here. And you can explode them, so you can copy them and can say, okay, I will explode those chords and distribute them across the staffs. So this is also working really great. You get the point, it works. So in combination with RapidComposer, this method is really advanced in combination with Reaper. So this exploding method is also something that I have shared on my account. I used Gemini to create some sort of exploding function myself. So we have this, where's the scalar? So I will make it large now. So, and I can drag those chords in here. And I can say, okay, I will also explode on 4. And here we have the same. I shared those scripts on my Google Drive. I will drop a link in the description underneath the YouTube video. And this is also very handy. So you can distribute those chords across your staffs to have a better orchestration. So I hope this long video is explaining some of my methods of not having a chord track inside of REAPER. And in this example, I also use a special theme. It's called the Logic theme, the big theme. It's really, really a great interface theme looking for REAPER, very clear. And I also explained essentially when you write soundtracks, you should take a look at Dorico. Seriously, that's no joke. It's very expensive, no doubt about it, but it's the most advanced. I cannot even imagine to write music again without Dorico. I cannot imagine that because it has so many great functions. So you can, for example, select those chords and can say, okay, I want to remap them. Oh, wait. Remap map scale and can say, okay, it was C. We want to push it to maybe F sharp in Lydian and snap those keys. And as you can see, I mean, this is way more advanced than what a traditional DAW provides. But you can also create those chord, you can essentially write those chords into the staff and can tell Dorico to create the chords for you based on what you typed. So there are a bunch of tutorials out there. It's easy to learn, so you learn it in probably 5 days when you have some basic skills and notations. But I mostly use it because the CC curves are really realistic. So it really knows how to animate those CC curves. No human can do this in that precision, and that makes the difference when you listen to the music. So it sounds really natural, and it has no AI, some sort of, because it knows the dynamics. So playing, I guess it was here, no. Playback options. So it knows the dynamics and you can customize those dynamics. It knows how to pitch and how to behave in certain situations. So this is something a traditional DAW doesn't provide. So essentially what I want to say with that is I use REAPER as a mastering tool at the end, and I use REAPER to make a draft, something like that. Just playing on the keyboard, and then I bring everything over to Dorico, finalize it, shape it with RapidComposer, and stream the data back into REAPER to have a live feedback with all the effects that you can also apply in Dorico, but it's clunky. So I stream the data directly in REAPER, and the great advantage is I can export all the MIDI data at the end of the day import it right in here, apply it to each track, and it works perfectly. It's the same result like with the streaming setup. So that's my method, and yeah, I hope you learned something from it. Leave feedback, share it. I would appreciate that, because I want to look more into REAPER and how we can improve REAPER and yeah, write better music. So have a nice Sunday. Bye.